Imagine your skill leveling up so fast that you become so good that you make the current best players look like child's play. Well, I want that for you and for myself. So I challenge myself to discover what makes these players so good that they are just mesmerizing to watch. And I also figured out the genius strategies which can be used to reach their level in just 24 hours. It all started with just a normal day of life. I was scrolling through comments, reading what you guys had to say about me, and then I saw this message. Bro, you not good. You aqually horrible. You're not him, Mr. Voice Crack. Reading this message heavily traumatized me, and sadly I don't think I would ever be able to recover from this trauma ever in my life. But this got me a bit curious on who truly is the best player in the game and why are they called the best. I had to know what separated an amateur player like me from the best player in the game, and unlike them spending countless months and weeks training to become good, I'll try to become better than them in just one day, or you could say 24 hours. So I started digging on who the best player was in the game, and some sources on YouTube videos led me to this channel called Materia. He is apparently some god level threat that everyone on the Strongest Battleground dreams of reaching one day. And while digging a bit more about him, I came across a very interesting video which I initially didn't want to watch because it wasn't relevant for my research. How is this former number 1 actually a fraud? I guess you probably know what happened next. After watching that video, I truly felt like I got physically dumber and I needed holy water to cure my life-threatening sickness. But thankfully I was still alive barely. And no, I didn't just become stupider. I also learned the valuable and secret on how Materia got so good inside the game and became the number 1 player. Just look at that for yourself. Materia himself told us why he wants to become number 1. I want to be top 1 because I think I deserve top Q. I didn't sleep just to play SBG Strongest Battlegrounds. My powers and all the energy I had were wanted on this game. No, wanted on that game. Guys, I'm number 1. Materia, I don't know how, but reading your message awoke the Indian side of me that I never knew existed. No wonders you're number 1. You sacrificed touching grass and sleeping for a Roblox anime fighting game rank. Even if I enslave myself to do exactly what you did, I don't think I'll ever reach your level. Speaking of that, how will I become number 1? So I'll just spend the next 24 hours of my life reaching his level in terms of skill. I think that's more reasonable than basically ruining my health for a Roblox game rank. Yeah, funny Lego game. And the process I'm going to use to get there lies in this quote. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not to fear the results of 100 battles. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Before I even start knowing my very ridiculously hardworking enemies, I should probably start to know myself first. I can grab some guy midair. I can stomp on their head sometimes. Oh yeah, I can jump and also run. Oh, other than that, I'm a complete noob inside the game. But I mustn't lose my faith. I've recently came to the realization that my hidden talent is actually my ability to adapt. So basically, adaptability gives me a competitive advantage against my enemy. And no, I'm not one of those cringe players that dress up as Mahoraga or whatever that SCP is called and go around the server claiming I'm the best adaptable, best player. Sadly, my adaptability philosophy and the one that everyone acts upon is completely different for a reason. Before I tell you the reason, I think it's necessary to also know if I have average intelligence or I'm mentally disabled and autistic. It's good to know things like that before I waste my time on a Roblox anime game. So I took a short IQ test. And the results were quite surprising, I must say so myself. So this website is basically claiming that I'm smarter than most of the people that play Roblox these days. That's good to know. Now that we got a basic understanding, it's time we actually figure out together what needs to be done to reach the top 1 spot. Let's be real, the players I'm comparing myself to have countless hours of grinding a Roblox game almost religiously. They may not pray once a day, but they will get that sweet Strongest Battleground skill streak. Okay, I'll stop being unfunny. To take it a bit more seriously, I'll need to do something that will help me reach their level in just one day. That's where my adaptability comes in. From what we know so far, I can stomp on someone's head and grab them midair, which are kind of efficient, but in order to reach the top 1% without practicing for months, I'll need to adapt to every good player I see. For this, I'll be watching YouTube videos and analyzing what they are doing right and what I'm doing wrong. Now, I'll be dividing my skills into 3 sectors. So we will have a better and more organized goal to aim for. Firstly, being the combo, which I'll further divide into more sub-goals. Next is movement, and finally it's methodical calculations, which is going to be a very complex category to crack. But before I speak more of it, I believe it's time we start the 24 hours clock. Now that the timer has started, I'll firstly focus on developing combos for Garo, because that's pretty much the character I know something to nothing about. Starting with probably the best Garo combo extender called Twisted Extender. I came across this channel called Twisted, and I believe he's a decently good player who knows his things. Actually far more superior than me in terms of experience. Well, at first I found it a bit complicated and hard for some reason. My very talented self couldn't do one of the easiest things in the game. Remember when I was blasting materia and when I was boasting about being some sort of adaptive genius? Well, turns out I was about as adaptive as a rock. All I was doing was blindly following tutorials like a sheep in a wool factory with zero logical explanations. I was like, oh yeah, I totally got this! While secretly I was praying for a miracle. After analyzing some clips of me doing it once or twice, I literally figured it out after just one clip analysis. Anyways, Twisted is really easy for me now, and it only took 15 minutes of our time. So it took me additional time to practice and actually learn it. But who needs hours of practice when you got a brain the size of a small planet, guys? Ain't I right, guys? Anyways, with this pace, I wasn't going to be the #1 player. Rather, I think I'll become the worst failure in existence. And to fix that, I quickly needed to learn all of the useful techs of Garo and create a combo of my own. So yeah, I just watched a few videos and now I can do pretty much every tech inside the game for Garo. And this took me in total 2 hours of our time. Now that I got all the knowledge I needed, here is the combo I developed. I'll M1 them and then do the twisted tech. And then the header's grasp into another twisted tech. This will make them really low health, and then finally lethal whirlwind and flowing water, thus the finishing blow. Combos are good and all, but if you can't land them, there is no point knowing them. So for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to figure out how to move properly like the best players. Guys, I believe a lot of time has passed since we spoke of materia. Don't worry, I'm not going to blast him again. Instead, I was planning on taking some movement aspects of his gameplay and implement them into mine. And I did so. Upon analyzing, I realized materia depends on an unpredictable style of movement, which increases the decision-making time of his opponent and make him more versatile. I tried creating my own unpredictable movement system. Unlike materia, I'll be consistently making routine switches between shift lock and normal camera movement. I'll be taking advantage of this in the methodical calculations section. Anyways, enough with the basic movement. Next, I'm not about to claim I'm some dash mastermind, but I do have something even better. Common sense. I'll just move around the dummy a bit and improve my dashing through that. Yes, shocking, nothing super genius. Finally, for defensive purposes, we have dodging and blocking. Yeah, just dash out when your enemy is about to attack. But blocking, that's where the real fun begins. Apparently, you're supposed to anticipate your opponent's every move and block with ninja-like reflexes. But let's be real here, folks. My reaction time, unfortunately, I don't have above average reaction time, so I'll just block when I see something coming. Even though my reaction time is complete garbage and I mostly live in the past, this is the only thing I can do. Methodical mind. So we only have a limited amount of time left, and I don't think we can spend any more on practice and experimentation. I know I've been yapping about this since the start, but what does it actually mean? Well, a methodical mind refers to someone who approaches tasks and problems or activities in a systematic and organized manner. Yeah, it's that simple, but yet 99% of the players don't follow along with the simplicity of it. You see, our brain creates habits to reduce mental strain so that our subconscious mind would be able to do them flawlessly without direct conscious effort next time around. But this biological evolutionary aspect actually hinders our adaptability because we wouldn't be able to change and strategize for each new opponent. Wow, who knew studying 10 minutes of biology at school would make me sound like a genius? But here's where it gets wild. I spent a solid 45 minutes. That's almost as long as a Netflix episode, visualizing every move, every jab, and every dodge of every character in this game. Now that I feel like killing myself, I think it's a better option to continue. And also, it's time we go to our final segment before the timer ends for the day, which is known as strategy. You see, so many people are nowadays focusing on offense that they forget the key feature that gives them the competitive edge, their defense. In order to manage defense and offense, I'll be implementing two different long-term strategies which I may replace in the future depending on the circumstances. But firstly, for offensive maneuvers, I'll be focusing on it only 40% of the time. And the strategy I created for this is the dash blitz strategy. Okay, genuine question real quick. Do you guys know of that very talented Austrian painter who got rejected of art school and took over almost half of Europe because of it? Yeah, it may sound weird, but the war tactics he used and the strategy I'm using is pretty similar. Firstly, I'll slowly plan and figure out what type of player my enemy is, and then slowly attack them while showcasing terror and fear, which may lower their guard. After that, the real fight begins. When I start attacking him countless times rapidly, a certain feeling will suddenly form inside of him. People hate the feeling of being rushed and are terrified of making mistakes. This strategy works wonders on those who are particularly hesitant and afraid of making any mistakes. It's like watching a horror movie where the protagonist keeps running up the stairs instead out of the front door. You know it's going to end in tears at the end. And please don't call me a dumbass for implementing and getting inspired of historical war strategies in a Roblox game. Yeah, funny Lego game. Now that I got a strategy for offense, it's time I work on my defense, for which I'll be giving 60% of my focus in battle for. And remember, power is not only what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. I think you guys probably have enough of me giving out totally valuable strategies online so blatantly that everyone can use them. Never give out all of your strategies in a goddamn YouTube video. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. So yeah, I'll keep my other 6 strategies to myself as a countermeasure if one of you tries these tricks on me. About the challenge, these are the improvements I made in the last 18 hours using everything that has been said in the video. Now for the rest of the time, I'll just play and fight alone in public servers for improving slowly but steadily adapting to mistakes. And I'll speak to you when the time's up. Now that the 24 hours clock is up, let's see the difference between the skills I achieved in the past 24 hours. Here is a clip I took of myself a few days ago before doing the challenge. And this is me now. moral of the story is that no, it's not possible to become number 1 in terms of skill, but in a week or a few weeks, by doing this, you could easily reach their level or even surpass them. Good luck convincing me to waste my life's time again doing this. Yeah, it's pretty easy to level up in this game, but what about when your character is controlled by 2 different people? Click on the video on the left if you want to find the truth.